Well, hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode, I will give you a buyer's guide for a very interesting bike from Trek. It's going to be the TREK EMONDA ALR 5 with the retail price of 2,300 US dollars. And you see, the secret sauce of this bike is that it comes with the aluminium frame or aluminum frame with the combination with the carbon fiber fork. So you see, the main question here is, who is this bike for? So I would put it like this. If you are worried that your carbon frame will easily shatter when you crash, or you are interested in some kind of amateur racing, starting your racing career, then definitely you should consider the aluminium frames on road bikes. Because when you think about aluminium frames, of course the ride is going to be a bit stiffer than on a carbon fiber frame, but if you crash the bike, if you drop the bike, the aluminium frame won't just shatter like carbon fiber, so definitely you have an advantage there. So I would definitely put it like that. So if you are in the market for a kind of carbon fiber frame or an aluminium frame, just think about this durability of aluminium frame, and of course a bit more stiffer. As I was saying, the retail price is 2,300 US dollars, so it's a very interesting price bracket, way below 3,000 US dollars bikes that are becoming standard now. So that's why I'm thinking it also as a kind of starter bike for somebody who just wants to start maybe racing and competing a bit. Okay, when it comes to the paint schemes on this bike, you have two choices. One is this very classical, totally blacked out from Trek. It's a decent paint scheme if you like your totally blacked out bikes. And then there is this beautiful, what they call azure coral fade paint scheme. I would describe it like almost like a metallic green blue with a hint of orange. Absolutely stunning paint scheme. I would definitely go with this paint scheme. And again, I'm glad here that Trek is offering at least two paint schemes on this aluminum bike with the retail price of 2,300 US dollars. Now we can dive into the specifications of the bike and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. So we can kick off with the frame and the fork on this bike. As I was saying, the secret sauce is that this frame is the ultralight 300 series aluminum frame from Trek with their invisible weld technology. Of course, it has an internal cable routing, it has a flat mount disc brakes and 12mm through axles front and the back. Also, the bottom bracket on this frame is the threaded T47 bottom bracket. Absolutely excellent. Your local mechanic will love you because it's very easy to service this bottom bracket. When it comes to the fork, this is a carbon fiber fork from Trek with the tapered carbon steerer, of course flat mount disc brakes. So you see now this combination of the carbon fiber fork plus the aluminum frame for this bike. I will just mention briefly here that the geometry of this bike is what Trek calls their H1.5. So you can think about that the ultimate racing bike in Trek would be H1, and then you would have this H1.5 geometry, which is just a little bit relaxed from their ultimate pro racing bikes. Now let's talk about the wheelset on this bike. So what do you get? So this wheelset is a very simple aluminum wheelset from Bontrager. So you have a classical aluminum Bontrager rims. They are tubeless ready, and they come with the Bontrager aluminum hubs. These hubs are with the sealed cartridge bearings and 12mm through axles front and the back. This wheelset easily can be around 1,900 to 2,000 grams, so nothing special about this wheelset. If you really want to upgrade the wheelset in the future, I would always advise you to have a look at DT Swiss wheels, even if you start with some of their aluminum wheels. They are just excellent, specifically considering the DT Swiss hubs. So all in, pretty standard, classical aluminum wheelset, almost as a starter wheelset. The tires on these wheels are from Bontrager. There are one hard case tire. And just keep in mind here that this tire is a 28mm tire, and Trek is also claiming that the maximum tire width you can use on this frame is 28mm. So if you are planning to run any wider tires, probably 30mm tire is still gonna fit and it's gonna be fine, but let's say 32mm tire, I'm not so sure. You'll probably run into problems. So if you like to run really wide tires, then definitely this frame and fork is not for you. 28mm or 30mm is decent, it's fine, it gives you nice air volume, and this would probably in today's world be the minimum tire width I would use, 28mm. Now let's look at the drivetrain on this bike. So shifters, front mech and the rear mech, what do you get here? So this is a classical Shimano 105 mechanical group set. So this is 11-speed mechanical group set, absolutely perfectly fine group set, total workhorse from Shimano, easy to service, works perfectly fine, so definitely I have no complaints here. Just keep in mind again that the rear mech here is so-called Shimano's short cage. So the maximum cassette you can fit here is the 1130 cassette. So again, if you are planning to run 1132, 1134, you will need to upgrade this rear mech. Crankset on the bike, Shimano 105 crankset, 5034 chainrings, excellent, no cutting corners here. Cassette, again Shimano 105 cassette, 1130 cassette. This is what I was saying, so 1130 maximum cassette you can fit here, and also no cutting corners on the chain because it's a Shimano's 105 HG601 11-speed chain. I would always advise you in the future to, when you are replacing the chain and the cassette, always keep it in the Shimano's family, in the Shimano's group set. So of course you can use Shimano 105 chain and cassette or Shimano Ultegra, or you can even look at the Shimano's mountain bike range and use something from there, from the 11-speed group sets. Now let's look at some of the smaller components like the seat post, the saddle, handlebar, and the stem. So when it comes to the saddle on this bike, again, classical Bontrager comp saddle. If you like it, great. If not, it's very easy to replace. And this saddle also comes with the Bontrager comp seat post, but this is aluminium seat post. This is a bit of a no-no for me. I don't know why Trek just didn't insert here a carbon fiber seat post. It would be so nice to soak up some of the smaller road bumps. So this is my advice to you, that if you are really interested in this bike and you go to your local Trek shop, definitely ask them to replace this aluminium seat post with a carbon fiber one, and then you are willing to, buy the bike. Because a good carbon fiber seat post will probably set you back for about $100 US, and definitely they should have included it here. Handlebar and the stem. Handlebar, classical aluminium Bontrager handlebar. Same story goes for the stem, classical aluminium Bontrager stem. It's perfectly fine here in my opinion. Nothing is proprietary when it comes to these handlebars and the stem. Easy to replace in the future if you really want to upgrade. And also if you are adjusting your position on the bike, it's very easy to adjust it because, as I say, nothing is proprietary here. When it comes to the braking system on this bike, you are getting Shimano's 105 hydraulic disc brakes, front and the back 160mm braking rotors. These are, of course, Shimano's basic RT70 braking rotors. In the future, when you destroy these rotors, I would advise you to buy a Shimano Ultegra braking rotors, just because of the better heat dissipation on these rotors than these RT70 braking rotors. But definitely keep it at 160mm both front and the back because you want a good stopping power. Also, Trek nicely here gives the bike weight for the size 56, which is 9 kilograms. If you add pedals on top of it, let's call it 9.3 kilograms ready to ride. So definitely, as you see, it's not the lightest of the bikes when you compare it with some other, if it's a carbon fiber frame and the fork. But again, this is not the point of this bike. So 9.3 kilograms, it's decent in my opinion for the aluminium frame bike in a combination with the carbon fork and very basic aluminium wheels. If you are really thinking of dropping the weight on this bike, then of course you can play with the much lighter wheels, a much lighter combination of handlebar, stem, seat post. So these are the easy things you can always upgrade. So in a summary, what is my advice to you with this Emonda ALR 5 road bike with the retail price of $2,300? So as I said, if you are really thinking about, you want your frame to last a long time, so you are not afraid of shattering the frame, you are not afraid of dropping your bike, maybe you just want to go racing a bit, then definitely it's worth considering this Trek Emonda ALR with the aluminum frame and the combination of the carbon fork. It's a very nice starter racing bike, and this 2,300 US dollars price, it's a decent price. Of course, you should definitely negotiate a bit with your bike shop and tell them to drop in this carbon fiber seat post, and definitely I have no special complaints about this bike in this specific price bracket. So I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, keep on watching, keep on liking, and as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!